Thank you all. It's an honor to be here with you on such an important day in your lives. I want to thank Dean Livingstone, who reached out to me and has maintained a dialogue with me since I've graduated. And I want to thank all of the people on the dais and the faculty for not only recognizing me, but educating me and preparing me for what has been a really rewarding career. Like many of you, my parents are here today, and my sisters and my lovely wife, and I'd like to acknowledge them and thank them for decades of support that they've given me and the help to get through college, as well as make a difference in business. As flattered as I am to be here and to be acknowledged today, I want to acknowledge that we're all here assembled to celebrate and honor the hard work that you guys have done, the work that you've done to try to better prepare yourselves for a productive life, and I'm sure that the work you've done will ultimately help you expand your horizons. And for that, we're here to thank you and to celebrate you. Years ago, I was on your side of this podium, and I thought it would be appropriate for me today to share a bit of a knowledge that I've acquired since I was on that side. I hope you'll think of this as maybe one last lesson that you get before your official graduation, and this is a lesson that you won't be tested on. So, like many of you that are out here, I decided to attend Pepperdine because they had an MBA program that was designed that allowed me to work a full-time job and still be able to get a world-class education while doing that. And at the time that I came for my MBA, this format of working and attending college was quite a novel concept. It was one that was at the leading edge of education at the time. And there was one class that I had to take in my program that was a class that I was really not looking forward to. It was a class in organizational behavior. And I see they still have this class. I figured I was working full-time, and it was very difficult for me to both afford and find the time to come here to work on my education. And I basically figured I knew everything that there was to know about an organization and business. I knew when I graduated I was going to start at the bottom of an organization, and if I worked hard I would make my way up to the top of the organization. And I figured that anything else that would be taught about organizational behavior would be academic drivel, and it would be a waste of my time. And to make matters worse, the particular class that I had to take had a requirement that I had to go out and find a company that would allow me to embed myself in their organization and study it, and that I would then go critique it, and I would report back to my class about all of its shortcomings. And I figured that there would be no firm in the world that would want to be hassled by a student that would have me come in and poke around, distract its management, and ultimately identify all of their shortcomings. And however, I was amazed that Pepperdine had such a stature in the business community that it was actually quite easy for me to find a firm, and I ultimately found a mid-size engineering company that built industrial projects. And they built things like power plants, for example, and they agreed to be my guinea pig. So I went in and was studying them, and as it turns out, and unbeknownst to me, while I was doing work inside this company, they were actually studying me. They were looking at me as if I was an ambitious young student that was willing to get ahead. And so one day, out of the blue, I got a call from a vice president of this company who said, hey, you know what, I'm going to break away and start a new firm, and I want to take advantage of some incentives that the governor of California has put into place that would allow you to build alternative energy projects. And you guys probably won't remember this governor's name was Jerry Brown, but he put in place some incentives to allow us to build alternative power plants. So I said to myself, given that I'd come to Pepperdine to try to further my career, what the heck, maybe this is the opening that fate had for me. And so I went out and, along with these guys that I had met, started a new company. And maybe just rewards for me, instead of starting the company at the bottom of the organization, I started right at the top as one of the founders. And, but it turns out that I was wrong to be so cynical about this OB class, because it was this very class that ultimately facilitated my ability to go into an organization and build an organization of my own. I've since started a number of businesses, including, as mentioned, a $10 billion company now listed on the New York Stock Exchange. And I've had a lot of experience in entrepreneurship and business building, and I can tell you that one of the most important attributes of any company is attracting quality people. And the reason that I want to share that story with you and the lesson that I learned here is because my Pepperdine education turned out not to be exactly what I came here to learn in this classroom. My education clearly encompassed a lot of other people that were around me, including this vice president of the engineering company that I was studying, who pulled me away. My Pepperdine education gave me confidence that I needed to go out and start a brand new company. My Pepperdine education went on my resume, and it gave me credibility in the eyes of investors as I went to raise money for my new company. And it went on my resume, and I talked about it with my customers as I ultimately was asking them for new business. So all of you that are being recognized here today are leaving this institution taking away these exact same gifts. You have the gift of knowledge that you were given, you have the gift of credibility that the university imparts on you, and you have the confidence of being a graduate here. In fact, I think that a lot of these officials have wanted to test your confidence by seeing if you'll sit there wearing a big square hat. And each of us who will endure today being photographed in these hats now has a common bond. We're all Pepperdine graduates, and this bond is a bond that you can use as part of your toolkit to continue to enhance your career. Because a degree from Pepperdine is a ticket to contact other Pepperdine graduates. It's a ticket to continue to stay involved in the university, to contact the faculty and staff, and it's an opportunity to continue your education and knowledge outside of these walls. I want to wrap up my comments with a lesson that I've learned since I've graduated, and I figured that it wouldn't really be a proper graduation speech unless I gave a life lesson. And I want to share with you a little bit about a theory that I've developed since leaving Pepperdine. And I hope this theory will resonate with you. I have a theory that none of us likes change. No matter how adventurous you are, I believe that most of us are comfortable in our surroundings. And for all of you sitting out here today, your lives have changed. You've graduated, and so if nothing more, come Monday, you don't have to think about going to class. But for many of you, your life changed because you sought out this university and you put in a lot of hard work to get an advanced degree with the expectation of improving your life. And now that you're finished here, it's time to effect that change. And I can tell you that change is hard and it's uncomfortable for most of us. When I was here in my 20s, I had a voracious appetite to learn about business. And one way that I studied business was I read Forbes magazine. In fact, I read every issue and every article of Forbes magazine for at least a decade when I was in my 20s. And it was during this period that Malcolm Forbes was alive. And many of you will have never seen him or know of him, but he was an incredible business executive. He led an incredible life. He mixed seamlessly with royalty and also with blue-collar bikers. He had his own private 727 aircraft that he called the capitalist tool, and he used it to fly around the world. And so as a young business person, I wanted to read everything that this guy was willing to publish. And there was an article that was in a Forbes magazine that has stuck with me, and I think about it all the time, and I want to share it with you because it's affected the way that I deal with the inevitable change that comes in business and the inevitability of change that comes through life. This was an article about people who died on the operating table, people who were dead and were resuscitated back to life. These were people whose hearts had stopped, the EKG monitor had flatlined, and through heroic efforts of medical personnel around them, they were brought back to life. And this group of people was interviewed about that experience. And amazingly, most of the people described having a very common experience. They talked about how they saw a warm white light that was drawing them in. And as they were reaching out to this light, they spoke about having flashbacks. And they had flashbacks of as many as 10 important moments in their lives. So as they're reaching out to this white light, many people recalled the happiest moments that they had on this earth. They recalled moments like their first kiss, like their wedding day, like the birth of a child, But people also remembered profound moments of sadness, like the loss of a loved one, or getting fired from a job, or hurting somebody that they loved. These people who were at the end of their lives on earth were recalling the most important lives on earth. And that's a very profound thing to think about. But what's even more profound, if you drill down into that list of memories that I just talked about, these were all times of change, a birth, a death, and even a graduation. So I mentioned that I have this theory that people really don't like change. But if you believe this article in Forbes magazine, and I do, and I've remembered it all my life, the most important moments of your life, the moments in your life that actually will define your life, are your moments of change. So tomorrow morning, as you all wake up and confront the fact that you've now completed this education, and your world has changed. And what I hope is that you'll do the best to embrace what may be one of the 10 most defining moments of your life. So today, however, we honor you for investing in yourself, and we're celebrating you for your achievements. Thank you.